Hey folks, I've got a few videos and they're 30-ish minutes kind of thing, but there's several of them and I put them together so you don't have to like search for them. But this guy puts things in perspective and he shows you things that you really need to pay attention to because all the things going on right now, just think of this. All the world's a stage and you're being played. Or all the words a stage and you're being shown some things, but it's like a game to them and you're being played. You're the ones being played. We are all being played. This is a farce. All presidents are wicked. They were all Freemasons. They all planned for the New World Order, and which is the one world government and religion in the Bible. If you can't see it coming by now, and I've told you this before, and some of you, not people watching me usually, but some who, if they happen to stumble on here, because I've had people leave comments like, I don't know what I'm talking about, right? You're blind, you're deaf, and you're dumb, and you're blind. Those ones. The shrills, the bots, well, I can't do anything about those except block them. And then you just create new ones. I have had so many channels taken down, like Richie from Boston, like A Call for an Uprising, like, several people. And even Vlog Impacts or whatever, I like the guy, I forget his name. And he's actually pretty funny sometimes. He's done his acting scenario about certain things, and it's been funny. It's been real fun. Let's put it that way. So you can go on, I think you can actually go on my channel and go in the about part or go in the subscribers. I think if you go on my channel, you can scroll down and get who I'm subscribed to. And I'm subscribed to a lot of people that's mentioned in some of these videos. So you can see for yourself what they're saying, and they'll show you the shenanigans of this government and the world. I.e., I'm a flat earther, okay? I go by the Bible, and it doesn't say it. It's a globe or a marble flying in through space at 666,000 miles an hour. There's a 666. NASA, it's an evil entity in itself. It was started with a bunch of war criminals, and they inbreed, and they're still running the show today. And they're pushing it. The funny thing is everybody believes this one entity, and there's nobody backing them up. Not one person. And most of their photos are CGI or now AI. And they even come out in February 2019 and said, oops, we made a mistake. The moon really is in our atmosphere. On their own website, they admitted that. All right? And now they're coming out. They're not even hiding anything anymore. And Donald Trump is saying, oh, we've obliterated Iran's whatever. Well, then why are they still lobbing missiles? Why are they still destroying, assets of the United States and Israel? Why are they still controlling the Straits of Hermes? Or Hormuz. Why are they doing that? How are they able to if they're obliterated? Donald Trump, tell me that one. These people that suck your butt, kiss your ass, and will do anything. And by the way, MAGA, if you go on the Church of Satan website, MAGA is the 5th level on that. Get that through your thick skull, folks. MAGA is nothing but evil. And all these people that follow that, bless their hearts. How delusional. Folks, I would listen to this whole video. I took these videos, and I don't know if Richie has got the wrong week that he's in, some of these, because they just came out the day I took them, and the dates that he's putting out there is off. Or if he's doing them those days, but he didn't get them out until later on, which is very possible. Because if you pay attention, for example, Richie explains Donald Trump wasn't shot and why and how. As a matter of fact, he has a rabbi on there that says that he wasn't shot, that they put an awe in him. And in the Old Testament, they used an awe if you were a slave and you wanted to stay with your master, you had to be marked with an awe in your ear, in your right ear. Folks, pay attention. And that guy, if he's gotten convicted, whatever, that was supposedly shot Donald Trump, it's a lie. It's a lie. All the Kirk thing is a lie. Everything's a lie. We're all being played, folks. And from the time I was growing up, when I was little, I was born in 1959. And in the 60s, we had 3 networks, if we were lucky, we would say, that we could get them. They'd, come on at 5 or 6 in the morning, go off at 11 or 12 at night. Well, there was an app that came out in, I want to say 2015, 16, where you could go back and look at the footage of those. And there were subliminal messages in there. Buy content. Disobedience will not be tolerated. Obey the government. Subliminal messages, folks. And when you look on the patent, the U.S. patent for the television, it's patent as a mind control weapon, folks. Pay attention. Look at this stuff. Do some research. Get off your dead butts and stop drinking your lattes, watching your television shows, which are programming you anyway, and start opening your eyes to the real world. All right? Now, I'm going to attach this to the front of all these videos, and you're going to see me first. And I implore you to look at all of it. Because I know some of you just thought, I can't do this. I can't. You know what? If you don't know your enemy, you don't know how to fight him. If you don't even know who your enemy is, you'll walk right into their trap. And most people have. I know people today that are still wearing masks. Even though these people that took this thing are dying left and right from all kinds of ailments. And I've known some personally. My dad, for one. And they got blood clots like crazy, heart attacks. They were healthy, but then all of a sudden they died. Wonder why. If you want to drink the Kool-Aid some more, you go right ahead. I'm done with it. And folks, we can talk about militia and dismantling this government all we want to, but you know what? It's in prophecy. It is going to happen. And the veil is thinning, and people are already seeing these entities on airplanes, like the woman screaming, he's not human, he's not human. And another one coming out, and these people disappear. And then another one coming out, they were eating humans. And she was a model. Folks, wickedness is at an all-time high. I battle it. You battle it. You know it's real. You know it is. And I would say to look at my videos, give them a big thumbs up, and share them with everyone you know. And if you pull one out of the fire, it covers you. If you pull one out of the fire, it gives you treasure in heaven. But if you love, now that, the Bible says, covers a multitude of sins. It's really difficult for me some days because these wicked people, I can't see anymore. I'm going to let you watch these videos, and I edited them to put them in succession so you don't have to go search for them all. And I'm going to leave a link to Richie from Boston's. This channel is Don't Pretend You Don't See or something like that. I'm going to put a link below. So I'm going to edit this in now. Now, he's not going to keep you bored. You're going to see things, and you won't be bored. The question is, do you want to see, or do you want to stay blind? I'm out.
But we begin with the latest from Iran and plans from the U.S. to strike even deeper into the country. Israel launching a new wave of strikes across Tehran, and an attempt by Congress to stop it all was shut down. Washington, D.C. Bureau Chief Ben Kennedy leading us off tonight.
Tonight, unclassified video shared by the Pentagon shows a U.S. submarine sink an Iranian ship, marking the first sinking of an enemy vessel by a torpedo since World War II.
4 days in, we have only just begun to fight.
A fight that Defense Secretary
America
Pete
fights to
Hegseth
win.
says is intensifying and bombing the regime's security forces, adding the military is now expanding inland, striking deeper into Iran's territory. Smoke seen over the country's capital city that is now riddled with debris.
This is an incredible demonstration of America's global reach. To hunt, find, and kill an out-of-area deployer is something that only the United States can do at this type of scale.
With Iran firing back, launching more than 500 ballistic missiles and 2,000 drones, vowing to completely destroy the Middle East military and economic infrastructure. While back in D.C.,
good afternoon, everyone.
The White House faced questions Wednesday when it comes to the possibility of American troops on the ground in Tehran.
Well, they're not part of the plan for this operation at this time, but I certainly will never take away military options on behalf of the President of the United States.
For 47 years, we were pushed around, and we shouldn't have been. And I think I can say, and you see it as well as I do, you see the tremendous progress that's being made. Their missiles are being wiped out.
To date, the war has killed more than 1,000 people in Iran, with officials saying it includes a dozen deaths in Israel and more than 50 in Lebanon, as it is unclear the future of who will lead Tehran.
Iran's senior leaders are dead. The so-called governing council that might have selected a successor, dead, missing, or cowering in bunkers, too terrified to even occupy the same room.
Tonight, the White House is also sharing that President Donald Trump plans to attend the dignified transfer of the 6 U.S. service members killed in the operation. The date and time of that has not been set yet. Louis?
All right, Ben Kennedy from Our Nation.
Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's Richie from Boston. It's the 4th of March. It's 2026, and the war is escalating because Iran shooting at every country all around them, and every country all around them shooting back is allowing this to turn into the great Armageddon they are so desperately looking for. And it's astonishing to me how many channels are supporting America, supporting Trump's decisions as wise ones, and other ones are actually putting it right out there for what it is. It's insane. And meanwhile, Israel, once they dragged America into it, Israel has now gone on a side quest where they have boots on the ground in Lebanon. And boots on the ground will have to happen with America because, like Trump said, what are you going to do? Well, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Whatever he said. But a friend of mine, Tommy G, has a huge YouTube channel, and he talked to a very important general. Listen to what this general had to say.
Understanding why we're in this conflict in the first place, from the Trump administration's point of view, and then if it differs from your point of view as well.
Well, listen, people can go and listen to Hegseth and Trump and whatever they have to say. I'm not going to repeat that drivel. I'm going to tell you that the reason we're in this war is because Israel and its Zionist billionaire supporters in the United States currently control Congress and the president. They invested enough money to ensure that everyone on the Hill will support whatever Israel wants. And they invested enough money in Trump that he was able to be elected in 2024. Those are the facts. So we are effectively in this war to remove Iran as an obstacle to Israel's regional hegemony.
Now, if you say that to a congressperson or to someone that's an AIPAC, they're going to say that that is a conspiracy theory.
Well, it's not a theory. It's a fact. All you have to do is look at the 100+ million that have been invested in the Congress by the Zionist billionaires. Because if you just look at what AIPAC says it spends on lobbying, that's about $3 million, which is a modest sum. You have to look at the direct payments that go into political action committees to ensure the candidates are elected. You have to understand that a candidate who says they're not prepared to support whatever Israel wants knows that whoever his opponent is will then be offered the same money regardless of party, as long as he or she supports whatever Israel wants. It's a very simple.
So as you can see, not everybody is fooled. Some people know exactly what we know, the conspiracy theories. This is insane. One friend of Trump, Adelson, I tried to look it up, but I just thought of it, gave him $250 million. That is criminal. This entire war is criminal. Do you see what I'm saying? 50,000 more troops are on their way. More ships are on their way. Every country has to get involved with this right now. This is going to go completely huge, and it's going to, like it's already done, make its way home, because that's the plan. That's the plan. None of this makes any sense because that's the plan. Unless you understand what the New World Order is and why they need to do this, then you'll understand. They're going to try to bring about Armageddon early or whatever, and they have to destroy the United States. Well, I'll tell you what, gas prices are already up 30 cents a gallon where I'm at right now. And I actually got a Airbnb, and it said, nice little getaway. It was in the ghetto. It was in the ghetto. There was no air conditioning. It didn't work. The entire place smelled like a giant bottle of Febreze. And I couldn't, something would happen to my vehicle one way or the other. So I just said, screw it. I canceled, and I came all the way back out here to the desert. I wanted to have the B&B for 2 days so I could at least edit all day tomorrow, but apparently I'm not going to have time. So I have to go off the notes that I have. And because of our current situation, my notes are copious. So I'm going to try to cover everything right now. But here's the fun part. Iran has closed the Straits of Hormuz. So oil production, oil shipping has stopped. And Trump, with all of our beautiful oil, we've got the biggest supply of oil in the world. We're the biggest guys. They've been shipping all of our oil and natural gas out of the country. So your bills are going to double, quadruple. This is all by design. They need to completely crush whatever's left of the American morale. They have to completely destroy us. People can't afford things as it is now. Okay? So gas prices go up. Food goes up. Everything goes up because everything comes on a truck. Diesel fuel is already at $4.30 a gallon on a road I just passed. The other day it was three and change, like $3.69, $3.79. It's going up, and it'll continue to go up. Well, we'll escort them with our Navy ships. You can't do that, dude. That's a sitting duck. Are you kidding me? And no oil shipping people are going to ship their boats through there because you can be reached from the land, period. You know what I'm saying? Without boots on the ground, there is no regime change, so we have to put boots on the ground, period. This is ugly, and it's going to get uglier. You need to understand, this isn't going to get better. It's going to get worse. It's all by design. Everything I've ever been telling you about for the last almost 20 years is actually here. We're actually living through it. This is happening right here, right now. So understand that. You know what I'm saying? This isn't going to be fixed with political, we're going to vote somebody, and this is going to happen. Nope, they're all bought and paid for. Our country has been usurped by Israel a long time ago, just like I've shown you. It's right on the back of the dollar bill. The New World Order, Novus Order Seclorum, is on the back of the dollar bill. It's the first thing that Elon Musk tweeted when Trump became president. The second thing Trump did when he became president was hand $500 billion off to the richest 1% on the earth to make data centers to keep track of your digital dollar and your social credit score, and then whatever else they do. Plus, they raise all your bills, they take away your water, they're destroying the planet, but who cares? Who cares? I know it's not a planet. Shut up. Relax. And someone's like, Richie, you called a helicopter a C-130. And my retort was, hey, dude, why don't you make videos out in the middle of the desert with a Starlink at night with no script all the time on important shit? And let me know how you do. But on that, I will digress.
Global order. And so we are seeing right now that ground offensive has already begun.
Hugely significant indeed. Kurdish forces start movements against Iran. Jonathan Conricus, your take on exactly that, the significance of a move like this and the timing right now.
But Iran showing it still has the power to fight. Tehran releasing this video, showing off an arsenal of drones and missiles still capable of striking neighbours.
The process that has begun will soon reach Europe if countries think that they can sit safely in a corner until this war, this conflict ends and then take a share of it. They are gravely mistaken. The fire of this war is highly contagious and will engulf the entire world.
While cautious, some of America's traditional allies are preparing for a wider war. Greece is sending 2 frigates, France deploying an aircraft carrier group, 2 more frigates to the eastern Mediterranean. From the UK, HMS Dragon, its most advanced destroyer, due in Cyprus in a week. Qatar says it took down 2 Iranian fighter jets in its airspace and 98 ballistic missiles. British ground troops stationed in Iraq also downed drones. Its RAF jets already in the air, shooting down attack drones over Jordan and Qatar. Israel is fighting on a different front, pummeling Beirut, targeting Iranian proxy Hezbollah.
Well, it's obviously designed to apply pressure on the Iranian regime. It is to signal to the Iranian regime that there will be pressure coming from various locations, from various ethnic groups. To put things into historic perspective, the Kurds are a large minority in Iran, but they're not the only large minority. Like them, there are the Baluchis in the southeast, the Azeris in the northeast, and other big ethnic groups that probably already are in some stages of similar development. I think we could assess this ahead of time that the Kurds would be first because they are by far the most organized and they have a history of bearing arms and fighting for themselves. And I think this is designed mostly by the US to apply pressure on the regime. Now, to put it to contain it a little bit, I think we shouldn't expect things that the Kurds are not capable of. This isn't an expeditionary force. They do not have the logistics or the manpower or the skill or technology to maneuver across lots of terrain and to present a military threat on Tehran or other centers of gravity of the Iranian regime. But definitely it will present pressure, and it will perhaps bring or motivate other groups in Iran to do the same thing, again, with the desired outcome to apply pressure on the regime. Now, the big question is, how will the Iranian regime respond? Will they respond by lashing out and actually engaging, allocating resources and fighting and with a lot of stress to it? Or will they make the smarter decision, kind of contain the situation and try to focus on other things that they have that are more burning? So far, the Iranian regime hasn't really managed this operation very well, so it'll be very interesting to see how they respond to this new threat.
Isn't it awesome listening to propaganda? The funny thing is I believe Iran more than I believe our own government, because everything that they say is a lie. Everything that the media puts out is backed or owned by Israel, so it's all a lie. This is mind-boggling to me, completely blowing me away, big time. But people are buying it, people are sitting back, people are relaxing, and they're thinking, we can vote on things later and figure it all out. And, Iran was going to get us any minute now, blah, blah, blah. I showed you the video last night where Netanyahu's been saying that since like 2002. He doesn't stop saying it. And now our own government is like, on the Fox News, I saw something on there where he's like, they talked to Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, And Iran told him point blank, we had enough uranium to make enough bombs. We were ready in a week. Wow. What a coincidence. They only told Jared Kushner, Trump's son, you know, the one that lived at 666. You know what I mean? It's totally, completely crazy. And here's something I want to address real quick. See this? I'm getting comments like, Richie, you're telling people to buy gold, and what about gold confiscation? Because that's happened before. Yes, it has happened before. And here's my reply to that. How's this? Ready? Here we go. For those that are sensitive, please place your left hand and your right hand over your ears. Okay, ready? What are you, a fucking pussy? A gold confiscation? What about the mandates for the vaccines? What about the mandatory lockdowns? Did you abide by those? Well, then if you did, if the answer was yes to either one of them, then switch off this channel and go watch Dabu 77 or whatever. Go watch somebody repeat the mainstream narrative only and once in a while say New World Order. This is for real. This is for people that are actually seriously preparing and understand the time of the hour we are in right now. Because yes, behold the pale horse. We're there. This is exactly what so many people that I came up under taught me about the New World Order. This has to happen. They are literally going to try to bring on Armageddon, and the United States needs to be destroyed in the process. Think about all the videos about people that are in Iran and in Israel standing underneath incoming missiles, videotaping them for TikTok, going yo, 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 and Allah Akbar and whatnot. But in America, if it's going to snow too much, the government mandates that everybody shelters in place, stay inside. Oh, there's a guy with a gun over there in the middle of Texas. Everybody shelter in place. A real government would say, hey, we can't get the cops there right now. Can you guys get out there with your legal AR-15s and light this bitch up? Yeah. So if they could try to confiscate your gold, we're in a lawless country right now. We're in a lawless country. Trump took $500 billion of your dollars, handed them to the richest 1%. Trump went to another country and stole the president in the middle of the night using the discombobulator, claiming that we now own all their oil reserves. We're the richest oil company in the world. And yet, today, oil, gasoline, has already gone up by 30%, and that will continue, okay? It's amazing how if it comes to gold confiscation, that means they're actually going door to door. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Are you going to acquiesce and do what they tell you and get the mark of the beast and get your social credit score and get your digital ID? Neither am I, okay? I didn't do one single thing they told me to do during COVID, and I'm still here. I'm still here. And as a matter of fact, I told you they were going to do COVID, and then COVID happened 2 months later. And I told you they were going to do this, and here it is. And it's just going to get bigger and uglier because Iran has China backing them. They have unlimited missiles that they can continue to shoot. We don't have Patriot missile and THAAD missiles, anti-missile missiles to shoot them down because Iran's already made sure we exhausted them all. They're not stupid. They've got China backing them up, dude. This is going to turn into World War III, and that's the plan. Because these faggots, no offense, will end up going into their underground bunkers. That's what they built them for, while we're up here dealing with the consequences they have caused. Our government, since I've been alive, has made sure that every other country on earth hates us or fears us, and that all falls on our shoulders because chanting USA, USA during a war is a scumbag thing to do. I said it years ago, and I'm saying it now. And when I used to tell you about they will come home to roost, well, it's coming. And I used to tell you at the same time that the national debt, they were just running it up because they were never going to pay it. Trump will be the last president. Congress doesn't seem to care. They say a little bit here, and, oh, Trump shouldn't have done that. That's not nice. He doesn't care, man. These guys are all in it. They're all in it. Either they took the money or they're on the Epstein list. One of the two. How come the last 3 million pages of the Epstein list that probably has all the videos of Trump raping a 13-year-old haven't been released? I don't know. Whenever they get in a corner, whenever they get in a jam, they start a war. Every single solitary time. This is it. This is for real. Nothing's going to go back to normal. We're going to see what war in other countries looks like in America, and they're going to make sure of it. Remember the videos I did last year at the border? The Texas-Mexico border, and everybody was, where are you from? Iran. That's weird. Why are all these military-age Iranians here? because they were sent here and they were brought in by our own government. Problem, reaction, solution. Effing believable. I'm sorry that I'm pissed off, but I'm pissed off. And you know what? God-fearing, truth-seeking Christian people want a pissed off Richie from Boston because I get shit done. You see what I'm saying? I am a little leery about the helicopters, but I'm still here because I'm just that stupid. At any rate, none of this Iranian war was an accident. It was a plan, and they told us the plan. It's right here in front of your face. What do you think that all means? Red tanks, blue tanks, drones, robots, rockets, missiles, all this stuff. They were telling us, and they're doing it. I've never seen them. I told you this at the beginning of the year. I've never seen them act so quickly. Ever since Trump's been in office, this has been rapid, and it has to be, and it will continue. Nothing is going back to normal ever. You need to understand that. I can't stress that enough. And while you're still able, get your money out of the bank. They're going to hack the banks. Somebody's going to shut the banks down and blame it on any number of countries because everybody's in the mix now. We've done pissed in everybody's cereal, and the banks will be the target. You're not buying anything. You're turning your ones and zeros, your 401k, your IRA into actual gold and silver. Will you be able to use it? Well, that's completely up to you, but at least you'll have it. You won't be at the complete and utter mercy. Think about the people during Hurricane Katrina. Where is the government? Exactly. They were on the other side of the dam making sure nobody found the explosives they used to blow it. You see what I'm saying? Same thing with the economy. When it goes down, you're going to be absolutely screwed. They do not care about us, which is why they're stealing every single solitary drop of money, everything, every piece of wealth out of this world before they nuke the United States. And I say nuke meaning they destroy it. And speaking of nukes, I don't believe in nuclear weapons. But I've been married before, so I have been wrong. If there are nuclear weapons, Israel will launch them against everybody, including us. Period. But here's something I recently found out. If you dig deep enough, you can find out things like the real secret technology the rich people have. And this is some of it right here. And it's frightening, but you need to see it because when they do the alien thing, because remember, that's still a thing, that's still coming, you'll understand what you're seeing in the sky because you're going to need all the absolute willpower you can possibly muster and all the faith in God that you can possibly imagine. When they do this alien thing, everyone around you, all the people you love, your children, your significant other, your son, your aunt, your uncle, they're all going to believe this, and you're going to have to know what's right. Let me show you something. Let me show you some technology that you probably didn't know about. Everybody knows about the TR-3B. That's it flying right there. Well, the TR-3B, like we expected, is old news. It's still something most people have never seen, and it is something they will use. You're looking at actual video of real government vehicles because apparently they're not necessarily lying about it, but people know about it, and the information is out there. Some of the technology they have is insane. They've got a thing called the TR-4, the TR-3A, TR-3B, TR-3C, and the TR-3-4. And these weapons can travel faster than hypersonic missiles. They can go from one side of the world to the other on one tank of gas. These things absolutely defy gravity. This is the Nazi Bell. This is the red and blue Mercury going counterclockwise inside the Nazi Bell that actually propelled it all the way out to Pennsylvania. You're seeing it in real life actually working. So will they go nuclear or will they break things like this out? You know what I'm saying? And scare the Iranians thinking that it's aliens or some such. But they've got the technology, but the people that have it aren't necessarily our government. When they mention DARPA, that's just really rich people that work for the Rothschild family, period. But this is all something that could be coming down the pike, so understand, this is very real. It is not alien whatsoever at all. And the fact that they're switching up and going from interstellar to interdimensional beings, well, they have to because they watch the internet. They know that some of us people that really do know what's going on understand that nothing is interstellar. It's all interdimensional. And these won't be things that when they finally drop this, You'll be seeing these things in person, not on television, because once they release the demons, these are demons, dude. These are fallen angels that have been trapped for the longest time. Once they are released, men's hearts will fail from fear. So worrying about if you get more of the algorithm or more views doesn't matter anymore. I'm yelling because I'm pissed off because I've been watching YouTube, all sorts of news all day, and it is amazing how people don't understand what this is. The government is telling the military this is Armageddon. Trump and Jesus have been anointed. Are you shitting me? That's never happened before. They're talking Armageddon. These guys are really doing this. This is the New World Order coming to fruition, exactly like I warned you about. Period. And here's the other thing. We have no idea what CERN is up to at all, because they've kind of gone dark. CERN, ITER, these weapons, I believe, are going to... CERN is there to open the pit. Somebody recently said that Oak Ridge, the Large Hadron Collider they have there, and CERN are the same thing. They're identical. That couldn't be any further from the truth. If you've been following and investigating CERN for as long as I have, CERN is built on the Temple of Abaddon, the seat of Satan. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's a little bit different. CERN is opening the pit. Oak Ridge is probably just going to try to open a massive portal on this side or use it as a weapon against Jesus when he returns. Because Jesus warned us about this, and these are the weapons that mankind has. None of them make any sense, how they got here, etc., so forth. And yet, here they are at any rate. So because I got mad and left the Airbnb and came back out to the desert, this is going to take a while to upload, because for some reason, even though Starlink is using the millions of satellites that are up there, when it gets dark, its speed drops to 50%. So uploading this video is going to take a while. But let me just leave you this little reminder. The Secret Service has put security, extra security on the president and every living president still, which is ironic because they should just put them in prison for safekeeping because they're all on the Epstein list. You see what I'm saying? Period. There's no way Joe Biden doesn't show up on the list, because every time you've seen him, he's fondling a child and smelling their hair or rubbing their chest. I got video of it. I'm just not going to show it right now. But you know what I'm saying. If they're all hunkering down, you need to as well. Get yourself in order and hit your knees the moment if you wake up in the morning, thank God for it. If you get a meal, thank God for it. If you know it's Saturday, the Sabbath, fast all day. Read the Bible all day. But get ready for this, because this is going to get insane. You're going to try to tell people the truth about the war, and they're going to be believing the propaganda on television. The U.S. military, we're doing great. That's why we're sending out more battleship groups and 50,000 troops. Yeah, we're doing phenomenal. This is going to be phenomenal. They're going to drag this out. This will make it home, because it's the perfect excuse to start killing Americans to take away more liberties. This is exactly what they need, and it's exactly what they're doing. We live in a lawless country right now. Donald Trump is the lawless one. Is AI the Antichrist? No, not at all. The AI can't get a head wound, and then, you know what I'm saying? So no, AI is just going to allow so many different things. And once the pit is open, AI won't matter anymore, because all the things that are coming through us through technology, pretending to be helpful AI chatbots, are going to be standing in your face. Men's hearts will fail from fear. Think about that. We're living this. This is happening. Everything we ever talked about is happening right now. The more propaganda you watch, the more you're exposing yourself to their broadcasting, casting the spell from Hollywood, the magic wood that made magic wands for the Druids. They're still doing it to this very day. Live every day like it's your last. One of these days you'll be right. Richie from Boston. I'm out.
And we're doing very well on the war front, to put it mildly, I would say. Somebody said, on a scale of 10, where would you rate it? I said about a 15. And we're going to continue to do well. We have the greatest military in the world by far. And that was a tremendous threat to us for many years. 47 years they've been killing our people and killing people from all over the world. And I think we have great support. And I think if we didn't do it first, They would have done it to Israel, and I think if we didn't do it first, they would have done it to Israel and give us a shot if that was possible. I have to go back and look at the war. You know, I have a lot of things happening. Thank you, Bernie. I'll tell you what, I have never had more compliments on something I did. People felt it's something that had to be done. So if we have a little high oil prices for a little while, but as soon as this ends, those prices are going to drop, I believe, lower than even before.
Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's Richie from Boston. It is the 6th, right? 6th of March, 2026, and that right there is Mexico. I'm doing a little side quest here. I got invited by somebody to come down here and do a little filming at night just to see something. I'm trying to find out something that we all talk about, theorize about, and see if I can find it out for real. But I want to show you a couple of things that are really crazy. So everybody's talking about, you know, Trump's claiming he was anointed by Jesus, and this is the battle for Armageddon. This is going to start Armageddon. And a lot of people are talking about it. The news is talking about it. And I reached out to a buddy of mine who is, this guy makes me look like just an asshole with a laptop. He is active duty right now and getting ready to go, because yes, there will be boots on the ground. So I reached out to him. I sent him a text, and this is what he said. And this is all I can show you, obviously, but this is what he said to me. So here we go. I said, hey brother, I meant to hit you back yesterday. The Armageddon speech? He said, yup. We ain't happy, bro. Pedal down, stay on their necks, Richie. Got you when I'm able. And I said, I'm praying for all you boys. Anything you need, let me know, obviously. And that's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. That Trump and the commanders of all branches would be telling soldiers that this fight is for Armageddon. Seems like the Jews would have an issue with that, don't you think? Because if they're trying to rush the return of Jesus Christ, they got to drop Judaism and become Christians. And we know they ain't going to do that. But the fact that Trump called himself anointed by Jesus, wow. I mean, that's just what I think, but what do others think, I wonder?
I have read today that military commanders, many of them, perhaps a dozen of them, gave a talk to their service personnel claiming that Donald Trump had been anointed by Jesus. What sacrilege is this? What blasphemy is this? Jesus anointed Donald Trump to murder little schoolgirls? Why? According to the religious, obscurantist, apocalyptic, prophetic, religious maniacs that are running amok in the United States, it was literally to bring about Armageddon. They openly admitted it. The commanders to their troops said it was to bring about Armageddon. It was to bring about the return of Jesus to the world. Now, there's two things to say about that. First of all, that will dismay the Jewish people who are in this coalition. Because when Jesus returns, according to that apocalyptic, prophetic, religious obscurantism, all the Jews will have to convert to Christianity or will have to be killed, put to the sword. So I hope they're listening in Jerusalem, in Tel Aviv, to the Sermon on the Mount given by American military commander.
Here's another strange little thing. I got an email from the ADL saying, Dear Richie, thank you for joining the ADL community. So forth, so on, blah, blah, blah. Sincerely, Jonathan Greenblatt. And I returned their email saying, I wouldn't ever join your terrorists. This world is plagued by. It was early in the morning and I misspelled, but whatever. You know what I'm saying? And I find that strange because I get this email from the ADL, and then also the simulated Leviathan, the guy I had on a live stream the other day, happens to Google his name doing some research and discovers that his name's being searched by one country, Israel. Isn't that crazy? That's what we call a thinly veiled threat. So that's crazy, right? Suddenly I joined the ADL, which I found, I couldn't believe it. But that's just like when I went after CERN, and CERN had to reply to me, Richie from Boston, 3 separate times on the news about the ritual that was done in front of the statue of Shiva. You guys remember that? Yeah. Well, right after that, whenever you typed in my name or tried to type in, it used to be back in the day, you type in RIC, Google would auto-finish Richie from Boston. Remember that? Well, after I messed with CERN, you'd get videos saying Richie from Boston found dead. And I took that as a thinly veiled threat. Well, me suddenly joining the ADL, I find quite strange. But then I talked to my buddy that I just had on a live stream, the simulated Leviathan, and just for fun, doing some research, he Googled himself and discovered that there's a spike on people searching his name coming from, ready? Israel. Crazy. I'm trying to eat this real quick. I just got this. This is a real Mexican burrito, and it's crazy because it tastes like actual food. Imagine that. Third world country, America. I'm shocked at this. This tastes like actual food. But I digress. Let's keep this going.
Hey guys, I'm here in DC trying to speak out against the Senate and ask them why they're going to send our men and women to harm's way when our elected officials said that there would be no world war. Anybody who feels disillusioned and betrayed by our government, you're not alone. Join us in demanding accountability for this betrayal. Free Palestine, free America. Let's go.
Israel is the reason for this war. America does not want to fight this war for Israel. Let's go. Come on, let's go. America does not want to send its sons and daughters to war for Israel. Your inability to name that shows your ineptness as leaders. This is wrong. And nobody wants to fight for Israel. A reminder to all our Commandant, please stand up as a Marine and stand up for America. No one wants to fight for Israel. Oh my God. No one wants to fight for Israel!
His hand! Oh! His hand! Oh my God. Sir. Let go of your hand. Let go of the door. Let go of the door. The senator broke his hand. A sitting U.S. senator just broke the hand of a Marine. Sir. Control your Senate! We're stuck in the door. Okay, sir. A U.S. senator just broke the hand of a Marine! Hand's stuck.
Flying over Tehran, flying over Iran, flying over their capital, flying over the IRGC, Iranian leaders looking up and seeing only U.S. and Israeli air power every minute of every day until we decide it's over. And Iran will be able to do nothing about it. B-2s, B-52s, B-1s, Predator drones, fighters, controlling the skies, picking targets. Death and destruction from the sky, all day long.
Then we're going to do the pro forma
blessings because it's still daylight. It's not the evening yet, but we're just going through the practice. And we'll use your candle. Yes. There you go. First time the national menorah was lit, President Carter lit the menorah. You don't have to be of the Jewish faith, you just have to have faith in Jews. Very good. Okay. So if you could all join us, we're also joined here by Rabbi Avram Friedman, who I know from my rabbinical college days, a very prominent rabbi in Florida.
Asymmetry. All right, so what is asymmetry? Asymmetry means that the two sides are choosing to fight different wars using different techniques because one is much stronger than the other, okay? America is a great empire. It has unlimited resources. It has the USD. It controls the world, right? Iran is a country that has been under economic sanctions for the past 45 years. It's poor. Its technology is very limited, okay? But as we learn in this class, actually, those nations that are poor actually have more energy. They're more open, and they're more cohesive. All right, so let me give you an example. This is what we call the Shahad drones. Shahad drones. Each of these drones costs $50,000 at most, okay? At most. It can go as cheap as $35,000 US. But one of them is $50,000. As you can see, you can fit a lot of these drones to a truck that can go anywhere in Iran, and they can hide anywhere. All right? So the thing to understand is, first of all, these drones are cheap. They're easy to make. They make about 500 a day. Okay? And estimates are about there's 80,000 right now that the Iranians have. So they can go on for a long, long time. Okay? And one of these drones, again, can knock out a desalination plant. It can knock out an oil field. It can knock out a hotel. It can do a lot of damage. Okay? And it's easily transportable. You can hide it anywhere. You can use it from anywhere, okay? And that's what the Iranians are using as an offensive weapon. And how do the Americans defend against this? They use something called a THAAD, right? Right, guys? This is what they use. THAAD. THAAD stands for Thermal High Altitude Air Defense. And they also have like Patriot systems. There's a lot, okay? The thing that you need to know about the system is it's really expensive. This missile, guys, costs $1 million. $1 million. So there's this $50,000 drone coming your way, and you throw a $1 million missile at it, okay? And often these missiles miss, so you have to throw 2 or 3 missiles at it, okay? So you're spending $2 to $3 million on each $50,000 that the Iranians spend. That's kind of silly. Second thing you'll notice is that this thing is really big and really slow. And therefore, you can't really move it around. Therefore, it's pretty easy for the Iranians to spot where this is and attack it. And then when these things blow up, that's a lot of money, guys. Okay? Then you're like, what? But this makes no sense. You know the Iranians have drones. They've had drones for like 10 years. You've also seen drones used in the Russia-Ukraine war to devastating effect. Why don't the Americans know this? Why did they prepare? Okay, and again, it has to do with military doctrine. Because military doctrine determines how you fight a war, it determines on your bureaucracy, and it determines how you spend your resources, okay? And unfortunately, the Americans are used to fighting something called the Cold War, right? And the Cold War, because you can actually fight the war, you can actually use, kill each other because then people use nuclear weapons. The Cold War was about flexing. Flexing, okay? You see how big and powerful I am? Me! Okay? That's all it was. These weapon systems are designed to scare the crap out of you. They are designed to impress you. And as a result, they cost a lot of money, and they really don't do anything, all right? So that's the entire American military. It costs a lot, and it doesn't really do anything. And it's not resilient. It's not innovative. It's not open. All right? Also, the other thing I have to say this, okay, is if you look at the American military, it's corrupt. So this is really about corruption. So the Americans don't really care about winning a war. What they care about is spending as much money as possible, because then they get a cut. It doesn't make sense. All right? And that's why the Americans are in a situation as they are. All right, let's continue.
Turkish threat is emerging. I want to be very clear. Turkey and Qatar have gained influence in Syria, are seeking influence elsewhere and everywhere throughout the region. And from here, I warn, Turkey is the new Iran. Erdogan is sophisticated, dangerous, and he seeks to encircle Israel. We can't close our eyes again. Qatar and Turkey are nourishing the Islamic Brotherhood monster that is growing and eventually might become as dangerous as the one created by Iran.
Something to do with Amalek. We've got Bibi out talking about Amalek again, you know, similar rhetoric to what we heard in connection with the genocide in Gaza. And then there's this report from independent journalist Jonathan Larson this morning. I don't know if you've seen this yet, where he's found that U.S. troops were told the Iran war is for Armageddon and the return of Jesus. I'll read you a little bit from this piece. A combat unit commander told non-commissioned officers at a briefing Monday that the Iran war is part of God's plan, that President Donald Trump was anointed by Jesus to light the signal fire in Iran to cause Armageddon and mark his return to Earth. According to a complaint by a non-commissioned officer from Saturday morning through Monday night, more than 110 similar complaints about commanders in every branch of the military had been logged by the Military Religious Freedom Foundation. And just as one more example, of course, we all listened to that interview between Mike Huckabee, Christian Zionist, and Tucker Carlson, where he said, yeah, I'm good with the Greater Israel Project because he sees that as fulfillment of a biblical prophecy. What is the rationale for this large, now regional war? What is the rationale for the timing? You know, what do you think did lead to this if it wasn't, you know, some combination of Donald Trump being compromised and Israeli threats?
Right. Isn't it funny that that's even a question? We don't know why the president launched this completely unnecessary, unprovoked, aggressive war. And we got to like sit here and suss it out through the tea leaves. Did they have video of him raping a child? Is that what it is? That beneath all those Epstein redactions is Donald Trump actually committing felonies? Or did the Israel, maybe nothing to do with Epstein? Maybe they've just been tapping his phone like they did Bill Clinton. Remember, they tried to blackmail Bill Clinton with Monica Lewinsky before that story ever leaked, that we want you to release Jonathan Pollard. And he almost did it, except that the top ranks of the CIA were all going to resign over it and cause a huge controversy. But they went to Bill Clinton and said, we got proof you're cheating on your wife, pal. They had no problem trying to blackmail the president then. So it could be that. It also could be that just Donald Trump is good friends with Netanyahu. He's always, you know, his son-in-law, Jared Kushner, obviously always speaks from the Likud point of view. He doesn't know anything else about it. He doesn't know any Palestinians or any Iranians. If he knows any Iranians, they're monarchist expat types, right?
So Trump keeps telling everybody, you know, gas is going to go up. Some American soldiers are going to have to die, but it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be great again. It's going to be this. It's going to be that. It's going to be a wiffle ball bat. It's all a lie. This is the New World Order. They are doing this on purpose. They are going to absolutely decimate us financially, spiritually, and physically if they possibly can. The spiritual part is up to you. I tell you every day, hit your knees and pray. Pray. Be thankful that God allowed you to wake up. Be thankful that God allowed you to eat a meal. Be thankful that God put you 1.2 miles from the Mexican border out in the desert and you're actually going to sleep here like an asshole. But hey, if what I'm trying to get on film is worthwhile, and it is what it is. But this is your national debt right here. And it just keeps going up and up and up and up. It was in a low 36 plus when Trump came in office. We're almost at 39 now, and it will never stop because war does not bring down the national debt. And gas prices will never come down again. They don't want us driving in the first place. So gas is going to go straight up. And the missiles that were shot by Iran that hit Dubai and the UAE, The problem is they came from the wrong direction. They didn't come from Iran. You cannot beat a military like Iran on the ground. Look how long we were in Iraq and we didn't win. Nothing happened. The country is just destroyed. It's never about democracy. It's about Zionism and bringing in the Antichrist. Trump just said Jesus literally anointed him, which makes him anti-Jesus. Or, do you see what I'm saying? An Antichrist has to be shot in the head. An Antichrist must stand in the holy place. You picking up what I'm putting down?
Why President Trump has drawn a new strategic map from Greenland to the Gulf of America to the Panama Canal and its surrounding countries. At the Department of War, we call this strategic map the Greater North America. Why? Because every sovereign nation and territory north of the equator, from Greenland to Ecuador and from Alaska to Guyana, is not part of the global South.
We're following major news tonight out of South America. U.S. forces launch a new military operation targeting alleged narco-terrorists in Ecuador. U.S. Southern Command sharing declassified video of preliminary ground operations tonight, saying it is working with the Ecuadorian government. At this hour, there is still no word on the outcome of this military action or any indication that it was approved by Congress.
And anymore, I don't see it. He's doing some job, and your next one is going to be, we want to do that special Cuba. He's waiting, but he says, let's get this one finished first. We could do them all at the same time, but bad things happen. If you watch countries over the years, you do them all too fast, bad things happen. We're not going to let anything bad happen to this country.
We are honored to come before your presence today, lifting up the arms of our president. We pray for your continued blessing and favor to rest upon him. We pray for wisdom from heaven to flood his heart, his mind, and Lord, you will guide him in these challenging times that we're facing today. I pray for your grace and your protection over him. Yes. I pray for your grace and protection over our troops and all of our men and women serving in our armed forces. Yes. And Father, we just pray you'll continue to give our president the strength that he needs to lead our great nation as we come back to one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We pray your heavenly blessing upon him in Jesus' name.
Unfortunately, 20 people were injured and one Filipino woman was killed. Yes, there are Filipinos in Israel. Everyone is here. If you come over here, see all the damage right there. Look at that, man. They ain't kidding around. One Iranian ballistic missile, that's all it takes to cause destruction like this. Zoom in on all that crap. It's crazy. And then look at all the people as well.
Guys, alarms in Tel Aviv. Once again, Iran is shooting missiles towards central Israel. We're on our way to the bomb shelters right now. We've been non-stop for the last 24 hours. We're in the hotel and we have to go downstairs to the parking lot, -2. Look, everyone is already here. People sleeping in the floor. Yeah, life in Israel right now. For real, the last 24 hours have been so crazy. Unreal.
Is the wreckage from a ballistic missile launched by the Iranian regime. What you can see is a civilian apartment building in Bat Yam, or what's left of it, after a ballistic missile directly hit this building. Numerous people were killed, hundreds were injured, and there are now soldiers behind me digging through the rubble to try to find the bodies. They are launching rockets at civilian buildings.
Himalaya.
天上一个人，看天上，哇，看天上什么来了？大雁来了，哇！
An Iranian strike deep in the heart of Tel Aviv. For the fifth straight day, the skies above the city lit up as Israel's air defense system intercepted one Iranian missile after another.
Trebuie să funcționeze această stație de GPL. Dă-te!
עירותים בירושלים.
Yo, what the? Oh my God! What the? Yo!
Okay. Go! יא בני זונות, אני בהלם. אני בהלם. אני בשוק. אני פאקינג בשוק.
What?
Fucking we take America back when these cocksuckers don't even fucking support us. Fuck these motherfuckers.
I want $100,000 to come in. I want $100,000. There are people, there are 10 people that could give $10,000. There's 100 people that could give $1,000. Get a check, make it payable to Paula White Ministry. There are people that are watching right now. If you say, I don't have it, give $100. Bring up a sacrificial seed. This isn't for me. This is about kids that will die without you being obedient. There's only 3 envelopes. I'm not moving. I'm not going to lay hands on people till you're obedient. Get out of your seat. Come on. And come bring up a seed.
So one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We pray your heavenly blessing upon him. In Jesus' name. Amen.
It's amazing to me how many people have YouTube channels that live in America that aren't covering and exposing exactly what I'm exposing right now, because right now, nothing else matters. Absolutely nothing else matters. You see that right there? Incoming. There ain't no roads back there. There ain't no highways. Yeah, that's what I'm here for. So I'm going to wrap this up. But I'll tell you what, if you've got a YouTube channel, if you've got a platform, you need to be sharing this, liking this, and spreading this everywhere, because this is the most important thing. These assholes are openly trying to bring upon Armageddon, or a reasonable facsimile thereof. That's why everything's sped up so very much. Richie from Boston, thank God every day that you wake up. Thank him for every meal. Thank him when you can stand up and walk down the street. Thank him when you hear a bird singing, you see a dog wagging its tail. I don't like cats, but whatever. A baby smile. because all of that right now is in incredible jeopardy. There's no one ringing this bell. It's on. It's happening. Richie,
I don't know how long I'll be around. Got a lot of people gunning for me, don't I? Huh?
Chris Reason reporting there. Thank you. Meantime, the US has revealed a core motivation for their strikes on Iran was a 2024 plot to assassinate Donald Trump. The US Secretary of War today saying the Iranian group behind the conspiracy has been killed. Rob Scott has the latest from Washington.
Secretary of War Pete Hegseth says the leader of a covert Iranian unit behind an alleged 2024 plot to assassinate Donald Trump has been killed in US strikes. He didn't elaborate, but said those plans to kill the president were part of the reason the US decided to launch Operation Epic Fury.
Iran tried to kill President Trump, and President Trump got the last laugh.
The Secretary, along with the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, revealing the United States and Israel will soon have complete control of Iran's airspace, previewing a new bombing wave soon to be unleashed on the country.
Death and destruction from the sky all day long.
Back now with breaking news unfolding right now in downtown Brooklyn. Asif Merchant was just found guilty for his role in a plot to assassinate President Trump during the 2024 presidential campaign. The jury, moments ago, returning the verdict just a couple of hours ago, actually getting the case today. Now, Merchant faces a potential life sentence.
Yeah, Nikita Kassup sat in court today wearing an orange jail T-shirt. As you mentioned, he did speak at his sentencing. He offered an apology for killing not only his stepfather, but his own mother. The decomposed bodies of Donald Mayer and his wife, Tatiana Kassup, were found inside their Village of Waukesha home in February of last year. Prosecutors say Kassup shot Mayer execution style and ambushed his mother, shooting her 3 times. Kassup stayed in the family home with the bodies for nearly 2 weeks before going on the run. He stole a car, jewelry, and cash from the house. Prosecutors say it was to pay for a drone and explosives to assassinate President Trump. Prosecutors say it was to pay for a drone and explosives to assassinate President Trump.
A chilling warning has emerged from Iran's leadership. In a message that quickly spread across social media and global news outlets, a top Iranian official issued a direct warning to U.S. President Donald Trump. The message was blunt: be careful not to get eliminated yourself.
I don't know how long I'll be around.
Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's Richie from Boston. It's March 11th, 2026, and I'm in a very warm location right now, but whatever. All of a sudden, the mainstream media is talking about Donald Trump being assassinated. Now, we've spoken about this before, so I guess I'm just going to get right into it, shall we? So right now there's a huge rumor going around that Benjamin Netanyahu is dead. I don't think that's the case, but if it is, it doesn't really make any difference because that's not going to justify what has to happen. If Netanyahu was somehow careless enough to believe that Iran, backed up by China's technology, didn't have the capability to do what it is they're doing, they wouldn't have censored their own citizens saying it's illegal to videotape anything that's been bombed by Iran and posted online. That's cool. That's cool. All right. No big deal. But lots of people are saying that Benjamin Netanyahu is dead. Well, that's not my concern because if Netanyahu goes down, someone else will pop up right behind him just as bad. No big deal. Keep the show moving. What I'm concerned about is how badly the war is going for Trump and Hegseth. You know, Mr. President, how's the war? It's done. It's nearly complete. We're good to go. It's all set. We got what we wanted. There you go. Secretary of War, Hegseth, how's the war going? We're just getting started. But the guy standing next to you just said the exact opposite. Well, yeah, what he said. Wait a minute. It makes no sense because it makes no sense because it makes no sense whatsoever at all. So there's a lot of rumors going around that our favorite person, Donald J. Trump, you know, the guy that sold himself to the Israelis so that he could have the legacy of being the new savior, the forerunner. It's funny, I drive a forerunner. The forerunner of their Mashiach. Well, let's look at this real quick, because this is in 3 days. Let's look at this just to start with. How's that?
Donald Trump will die on March 14th, 2026, and The Simpsons already predicted it. In a controversial episode of The Simpsons, one that many tried to hide, there's a shocking scene clearly shown next to a terrifying headline, Donald Trump found dead, and it doesn't stop there. In the episode, Trump is shown inside a luxurious room, surrounded by secret documents, nervously talking on the phone when suddenly he collapses. The clock on the wall stops exactly at 7 a.m. The creepiest part, just seconds before, the camera focuses on a newspaper lying on the floor with the phrase, someone very powerful will be silenced. A strange shadow appears, reflected in the glass just moments before it all happens. Who is it? This episode was never officially aired. It briefly circulated online and then mysteriously disappeared. But here's what makes it even stranger. The date shown in the episode was blurred out. Only a few frames reveal something chilling. Fans who slowed it down claim there was a hidden message in the background, a coded warning no one noticed before. Why was the episode removed so quickly? Who didn't want it to be?
Well, that's a fun video, okay? March 14th, 3 days from now, 7 a.m., 2026. The only issue with that is I've posted that before, because that's not 2026. That's just somebody changing the date to suit their timing. And that video, that episode never actually ran, if it's even real whatsoever at all. But somebody put it out there, and I believe they put it out there previous to AI. So that's kind of a weird thing. But here's the fun thing. Here's the fun thing. I firmly believe that Trump will be the last president, period. I told you when Biden was in office, he would be the last, elected president, that Trump would be the last president, and here we are. And there's so many things to back that up. You know what I'm saying? But the war is going so poorly right now in the Biden administration, left wing, right wing, same exact bird. So, Biden does things wrong. Trump says, I'll fix them all. But then he does the exact opposite. He hasn't done one single thing that he said he was going to do whatsoever at all. And as a matter of fact, getting illegals out of the country, he's done a worse job than Obama did. So he's not doing anything. But here's the fun part. The war is going so poorly, so unpopularly, that we've got video of senators and security attacking Marines in the halls of Congress and breaking the kid's hand. I showed you that the other night.
And nobody wants to fight for Israel.
Just a reminder to all our
Commandant,
witnesses,
please stand up as a Marine.
the Capitol Police will escort any protesters out of the hearing room.
Out. No one
We ask for
wants
calm
to fight
in these hearings.
for Israel.
His hand, his hand. Oh, his hand.
The war is going so unpopularly that they could do a false flag where Iran, Mossad, attacks the banking system. Iran, Mossad, attacks the electrical grid. Iran, Mossad, pretends or kills Donald Trump because they've already got what they wanted. And that would be their justification for going full-blown into Iran, because soldiers don't want to go. And they're going to put boots on the ground. I already know this for a fact. I don't know if you've caught on or not, but being in the military and being a YouTuber, I've got tons of subscribers that are active duty in all branches of the military, as well as the Department of Defense, which is kind of weird, but, not my fault. They could pretend to do a false flag attack, a large explosion, in American City, or staging the killing of Donald Trump. But staging the killing of Donald Trump wouldn't really make much sense. You know what I'm saying? It really wouldn't make much sense, because he needs to carry the football the entire way, and Trump is too big of an egomaniac to let somebody else take the credit. He's the forerunner. So recently I've been getting a bunch of emails, meaning today, all of a sudden out of the blue, saying that Trump was shot with a DARPA bullet that can graze you because they can turn. Those bullets don't exist. That's called propaganda. Okay? Propaganda. If we had those bullets, we'd use those bullets. We don't have those bullets. They don't make any sense in real life. For instance, I'm standing right next to a shooting range, right this second. I could throw my mouse over there if I was so inclined, but then I wouldn't have a mouse, so that would suck. Donald Trump's ear was pierced with an awl, which is why before he stood up, he said, "I need my shoes back on." In order to get knocked out of his shoes, because Trump simply took a bag with blood in it and went like that and hit the deck instantly. And then when he got up, he said, "I need my shoes." That was a ritual. They pierced his right ear with an awl for all the world to see, called it a shooting, but the people in the know knew what it was.
The current non-Jewish Messiah was chosen to be of service to the Jewish people and the Jewish Messiah. President Trump's right ear was grazed in a symbolic gesture of Exodus 21:6, where the Torah states that a servant who wants to remain with his master needs to have his right ear pierced. Trump was designated as God's servant and anointed one, just like Cyrus the Great almost 2,400 years ago. We have clarified in several videos that the absolute deadline for the redemption is by the end of the Jewish year 5787, which corresponds to October 2nd, 2027. Thus, the redemption will surely occur during Donald Trump's tenure. And I have good reason to believe Donald Trump was chosen to be the one to redeem the sins of Esav through offering his assistance in rebuilding the Holy Temple on the Temple Mount and establishing the Jewish kingdom over all of mankind in Jerusalem. Perhaps it is no accident that the numeric value of Donald Trump in Hebrew is the same as Messiah, son of David, Mashiach ben David, 424. However, Donald Trump is mistaken if he thinks he was chosen to make America great again. But America will never become a great country on its own, because Esav's days are numbered. All our elite institutions and centers of power and influence are rotten through and through. The majority of Americans under 30 who are college educated and who are the future leaders of America support the vicious monsters of Hamas rather than the holy and courageous soldiers of the IDF. No human being, even Donald Trump, can reverse this. No, the greatness of America does not lie in its own success. America will be great when the Messiah comes, and the leader of this country, on behalf of all the good people in this country, will humbly present himself to the Jewish Messiah and ask him to accept the United States of America into a new alliance of countries who accept the leadership of the Messiah. A new United Nations will replace the current cesspool that goes by that fraudulent name. A real United Nations, united to serve God, led by the Messiah and based in Jerusalem. And my feeling is that the United States under President Trump will be the first nation.
They also put blood on his thumb and on his right toe. That's why he needed his shoes again. In order to get knocked out of his shoes, they would have had to straight up tackle him. Boom! And they didn't. It would also explain why they made sure there was a photographer. The CIA, the Secret Service, put the photographer right in the way. I don't even think any of those Secret Service were actually active duty Secret Service. I think they were all actors. But yeah, there was no magic bullet that just went by his ear and sliced it. It doesn't work like that. Not even the best sniper in the world can take a shot from that distance and guarantee he's not going to hit the head. You can't. You just can't. How do I know? Fort Benning, Georgia, sniper school, 2015 vision. You see? Yeah, I know things. I just don't talk about them. At any rate, they could pretend to kill Trump, but I don't see that happening. I just don't see it happening. He's too much of an egomaniac. He needs to be there. But they will do something, and they're going to do it soon because they need everyone's support, and they don't have it. They don't have it whatsoever at all. Now, I'm talking to you guys. The subscribers that I went and met face to face, and I told you months ago, 7 months ago, that the military was already splitting. They were not digging all this activity with Israel, so forth and so on, and now they're telling us we got to go to war for them. They don't want to do it. They don't want to do it. But here's the fun part. You need a divided military in order to have civil war. I've been telling you that for a couple of years. Is the timing off on civil war? Hell yeah. You know why? I make videos. They watch these videos, period. How do I know they watch these videos? I don't know. Look at this real quick. This is an email I received from the ADL, Anti-Defamation League. And they said, Richie, as a new member of the community, we want to hear from you. Your voice and your and the priorities you believe ADL should be pursuing matter deeply. Jonathan Greenblatt. Now, I don't know how you join the ADL or anything like that, but this was my answer. Here we go. Stand by. I answered them twice because I sent them a very fresh email, but apparently they didn't get it. I said, I am not a member. I've been exposing Israel for the golem it is since Trump's first presidency. I believe you're aware of that, and this is supposed to be a thinly veiled threat. Not all Goyim are blind. Those that claim to be Jews but are not isn't in the Bible numerous times for no reason. This email from the ADL popped up right after I did that video with the simulated Leviathan, who coincidentally enough Googled his name and found out that one country was suddenly interested in his name. Same day, same time, him, me, and him. Thinly veiled threat. I haven't Googled my own name to see who's searching for me because I necessarily don't care. But that coming straight to my email, that's crazy. Now, the reason I was out in the desert, the reason I left Florida and went straight to the desert is because I had the opportunity to take video of the TR-3B and TR-4 at a specific area at a specific time, which is why I was in Texas at the Mexico line. Remember I pointed and said, that's Mexico? Well, we got out to the location and we were intercepted by authorities. They weren't Border Patrol. You know what I mean? They weren't state police. I don't know who they were, but they took our SIM cards and sent us on our way. So I didn't get any footage, which really sucked because I spent a lot of time, energy, and effort driving all the way out there to try to get this, because I thought getting actual video proof instead of people that are just putting up videos about lights in the sky. The easiest and most easily misconstrued activity you're ever going to see in the sky are lights. It can be done in so very many ways, and people are making big video deals out of it like it's when it shows up, you'll know. You'll see it. No two ways about it. So that's my 2 cents. And on that note, while you still get time, get your money out of the bank right now and turn it into gold and silver. Let them take your 401k or your IRA, take it out of the bank and turn it into the same amount in gold and silver that you can actually hold in your hand. Because when they do the banks in, because they're going to, they're doing a plan right now. I don't know if you caught on yet, but this is bad. This is really bad. They're actually doing this, no problem, because apparently their deadline is April of 2027 in our calendar. So this is all coming really quick, and they're not going to stop. You can already see that. They're not even trying to pretend there's any reason why we just started attacking Iran. They just left on their website, whitehouse.gov, June 2025, that we just decimated Iran's nuclear capabilities, and anyone saying different is fake news. And then they just said we had to go to attack Iran because their nuclear capabilities. And now we're going to send in boots on the ground to get those nuclear capabilities. Weapons of mass destruction. Let me remind you of something. This was our national debt on September 1st, 2001. $5.8 trillion. $5.8 trillion. And our national debt right this minute is $39 trillion. $39 trillion. I just checked this morning. It was only at 38. Apparently, we needed to give more money to Israel, I'm guessing. You see what I mean? And here's the fun thing. Israel has free education. Israel has free health care. And you pay for it. And out of those taxes they take out of you, you don't get free health care. You know what I mean? You don't get free education. Quite the opposite. Quite the opposite. Going to get health care in America right now, as an American, you'll probably end up dead. Because they won't cure whatever's wrong with you. They'll give you something to actually make the disease even worse. Or they'll just give you the disease. Do you see what I'm saying? People need to be outraged right now, and people need to be ready. I'm telling you to be ready. I'm where I need to be right now for whatever might happen. But whatever's going to happen is going to happen soon, because it has to. It has to happen soon. Okay? Is Netanyahu dead? I don't care. Is Donald Trump dead? Nah. They're talking about an awful lot of things recently, like people that tried to kill Trump prior. So before I wrap this up, I just want you to see what Iran actually looks like. The real Iran, before we went in and just decided to bomb the stuffing out of it. And a lot of people are using the analogy wag the dog. Yeah, this is actually real. Wag the dog was completely fabricated. This is actually real, okay? We are bombing another country is bombing another country, and another country is bombing a country, and another country is bombing all the countries around it, because that's what happens when you get attacked. You reach out to the closest proxy of whoever is bombing you, and that's what they're doing. Iran has every right in the world to do this, in my opinion. And if you're a soldier and you've got valid info, rjcjr10@yahoo.com. Send it, and I'll run it.
You know that feeling when you realize everything you thought you knew about a place was completely wrong? Picture this. You're on a rooftop in Isfahan, watching the sun set over a city that's older than London, older than Paris, older than almost anywhere you can think of in Europe. You're looking at architecture so intricate, so mathematically perfect, that it makes you wonder why we ever stopped building like this. This is Iran. Not the Iran you see in the news, the Iran of ancient Persia, of poetry and gardens, of engineering so advanced that civilizations are still trying to figure out how they did it. This is a country where ancient engineers carved homes into cliffs, and people still live in them today. They built cities in deserts so extreme, NASA now uses them to test equipment for Mars. So forget everything you think you know. Iran might just be the most misunderstood country on Earth. Because sometimes the most beautiful stories are hidden in the places we're told not to look.
I'll leave links if you're interested in watching the rest of that video, but if you want to know what's going on in the world, you probably might want to find out what's really going on in the world. Because the mainstream media does nothing but lie or propagate lies that are going to come back and be used as, you know, well, we told you on the news there was crazy people trying to kill Donald Trump, etc. You know, we told you on the news that we had to bomb Iran because they've got nuclear weapons, even though we just bombed them because they have nuclear weapons. Even though the only country to sign a non-proliferation treaty was Iran. Both countries, America and Israel, allegedly have nuclear weapons. I'm sure instead of using nukes, which I don't believe are real in any way whatsoever at all, they're going to break out some of the stuff we've never seen before and call it a nuclear weapon. Because we've got bombs. We've got real big bombs. We've got really big bombs that do really bad things. We made Nagasaki and Hiroshima look like they were nuked, but it only lasted a few months, way back in the 40s. Just imagine what they can do now. As a matter of fact, we don't have to imagine because we've seen them use it and call it weather events in the United States. Richie from Boston. Don't believe the hype. Be ready. Be ready. They have to do this. I'm out. Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's Richie from Boston. It's the 9th. It's March. It's 2026. And all those things are completely debatable, but it is what it is. So let's do what we can with what we've got currently. So I prayed last night, like I often do, and I prayed to God because I'm touching on subjects that are apparently making waves and pissing people off that have been contacting me in certain ways. People you don't want contacting you, put it that way. And I prayed to God, and the moment I woke up this morning, I'm in my tent. I say a prayer. Thank you for allowing me to wake up. Please guide me in word and deed. Please don't let me send anybody in the wrong direction. And the first thing I found on YouTube was very strange because all it did was remind me of something, a video that Keith from Minifish did a year ago. And it totally makes sense completely now. Trump wasn't coerced into putting Israel first. I mean, it's got to be clear at this point right now. Donald Trump doesn't give one single shit about the United States of America at all. He's just using it for what he can to further the Greater Israel Project and apparently bring around their Mashiach. You know what I'm saying? Well, I found out some crazy things today that didn't make sense to me before, but it all clicked. You ask God to answer a prayer, and you listen hard enough, he answers you, even a wretched soul like me. So let's get into this.
The federal government has intercepted encrypted communications believed to have originated in Iran and sent a warning to law enforcement agencies across the country. Those communications could serve as triggers for sleeper assets outside the Middle East. But there is no specific threat to any specific location.
Everybody knew that this is the likely scenario. We go to war with Iran, we should expect that their proxies are possibly being activated, and we all need to be on heightened alert.
Meantime, President Trump says Iran's new supreme leader is unacceptable. The person chosen to succeed Ayatollah Khomeini is his son, Mojtaba Khomeini. Mr. Trump says he is not ruling out sending in American special operation forces on the ground to seize Iran's nuclear stockpile.
Well, isn't that convenient? The federal government has discovered information. The FBI has found out that Iran may be activating sleeper cells in America. Well, that's crazy. That's crazy. But you know what the first thing that pops into my head when I hear that the federal government there might be sleeper cells? I think about this.
Cracking down on human smugglers and illegal border crossings is a top priority for the special session. Monday, members of the House State Affairs Committee heard from DPS Director Steve McCraw about a recent red flag.
I've seen some reports of some foreigners coming in through our southern border of, was it Iran, 4 individuals a week or so ago. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, that's in common knowledge, and I think most members are aware that over the years we've had individuals from special interest countries coming into the United States and apprehended in Texas along Texas-Mexico border, anywhere from Afghanistan to Yemen, including Iraq and Iran as well, Pakistan, Jordan. So, yes.
Fox News Monday morning reported 4 Iranians, 2 on a security threat watch list, have been caught on the Texas border this month, the most recent Sunday morning. During a break...
Yeah, they caught 4 of them, and only half of those 4 were on the terrorist watch list, which is insane because... If you recall, on Jailbreak, when I went down to the Mexico border when they were allegedly having a standoff between the Border Patrol and the National Guard, which was completely not true in any way whatsoever at all, but that's what the media was saying. If you recall, I had a video where we had people lined up. Where are you from? Iran. It just went on and on and on. Fortunately, because America, YouTube took that video down, so I don't have that footage anymore. But isn't it convenient now? We're attacking a country... You know, almost April, we're attacking a country that hasn't attacked anybody since the year 500 and something. This is insane. It's one of the oldest countries on earth, Persia. Do you know what I'm saying? And we just have to attack them to get those nuclear weapons there. Any minute they'll have nuclear weapons. I've been hearing that since I was, I think, around 22 years old, and I'm 58 now, so... That's crazy. But here's another fun thing that I want to remind you about for April, because America first, right? April 1st, America. Make America great again. Are you guys, is there any doubt anymore what's going on? Well, just in case there is any doubt and you happen to wake up, they're ready. Just remember this, last year when Trump ordered the National Guard, he ordered Hegseth to get 500 troops for quick reaction forces in all 50 states in case there was a civil unrest coming. You think civil unrest might have had something to do with the war they started in March? They figured right around April people would be getting sick of the bullshit. Trump didn't. I was completely mistaken. And I say that because I said Israel forced the drop of the Epstein files in order to force Trump into invading Iran. Well, it was probably to force all the generals, all the other people that are in charge, all the congressmen, all the senators to just shut up and go along with the program. But Trump didn't have to be blackmailed, because Trump is one of them. He literally belongs. He belongs to Israel. Do you understand what I'm saying? This is complicated, but remember this?
You knew damn well I was a snake.
No, not that. This.
Happened.
Moving to spare. Hold. When you're ready. On you. Ready. Move. Up. Move. Go. Up. Hawkeye's here. We ready?
Okay, we are watching live at a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, where former President Trump was speaking on the stage. There has been some kind of disturbance that clearly sets law enforcement and Secret Service into motion, immediately jumping around the former president in a protective mode. The crowd has been screaming. They are standing by. You can hear some voices there saying, "Are we ready to go? Are we ready to go?" We are looking at President Trump. This does not look good. I'm going to be honest with you, from what we can see right here, it looks like they are attempting to move him out, that he may have been injured.
Now, we've all seen that, okay? The whole world has seen that. And many of us knew that that was not a real shooting. The people in the background are just sitting there. So somebody just fired at the president directly in front of you, and they're still firing, but you're going to sit there and just keep watching and looking? Everybody was completely inept. And the first thing Trump said when he got up was, "I need my shoes." Now, Many Fish did a video on this explaining it very, very, very well. But I didn't understand the gravity of it till I saw this morning. This was the first thing I saw when I woke up this morning. Why? I don't know. But it explains so much. Trump didn't sell us out. We just got completely fooled. 100%. Well, I'll explain it afterwards.
For Trump to continue his loyal service to the Shabbat movement, which helped bring him to power, he would have to publicly declare his slavery to his Jewish masters by taking a piercing publicly to his ear. Now, it would be a little too obvious and frankly weird as hell for you to witness a rabbi publicly poking a hole in Trump's ear. So how could this public display of loyalty be achieved for all the world to see without raising any unusual suspicion? Well, on July 13th, 2024, while speaking at a public rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, Trump was supposedly shot in the ear by a would-be assassin. A photographer captured this moment of Trump rising defiantly before all the world with a bloodied ear. This assassination attempt, however, was actually Trump's global initiation as Shabbat's loyal bondservant, the Messiah ben Joseph, otherwise known as the Forerunner. Trump, like Cyrus the Great before him, would be the non-Jewish Messiah, obtaining riches, subduing nations, and pursuing titles of greatness, who will conquer the enemies of the Jews so that they can destroy Al-Aqsa Mosque and rebuild the temple. And if you remember, in Trump's first term, he broke with tradition and moved the U.S. Embassy to Jerusalem, recognizing it as the capital of Israel. He assassinated Qasem Soleimani during his first term, and he was the one who greenlit the Pentagon's active planning phase for this war we are currently watching years before it officially kicked off.
So, whether people are religious or not, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If they don't believe in anything, that's fine. But the people in charge absolutely do. And the people in Israel, the Jews, are waiting for their Mashiach to return. But I found out today that there's two Mashiachs. There's the Forerunner, and then there's the actual Mashiach. And Trump is the Forerunner. And one of the things they have to do is, once you sell yourself, because Trump's an arrogant, ignorant, billionaire, scumbag, pedophile freak, okay? Warmongering freak. His son-in-law, Jared Kushner, is a Mossad agent that married into the Trump family. And they said, you do what we say. We'll put you in the presidency, and you just need to do whatever we say, no matter what. And that'll allow you to be wealthy and famous and leave a legacy. Trump's almost gone. You know, the clock's ticking. This will allow you to leave a legacy. What he did was he sold himself. He sold himself. He traded himself to the Israelis. Now, in order to do that, you have to get an awl. An awl. It's a large needle with a wooden handle that you use for sewing canvas. I actually have one in this truck. I just don't want to look for it right now. And you have to do this publicly. In front of everybody, you get your right ear pierced with an awl publicly so everyone can see it. And that means you'll always listen to the person that you are a slave to. Straight up. Well, Trump couldn't go on stage so the whole world could see it, because you have to do it publicly so everyone knows that you belong to your slave master. He couldn't have some rabbi poke him in the ear for everyone to see. But the next best thing was faking a shooting, because see this? You see that? That has been there for, can you see that? Right there. I got grazed. Wasn't my fight. I was walking outside and one went whizzing by my ear, blew out my eardrum for like 3 weeks. But it's been there for like 35 years. It doesn't just grow back. Trump's, on the other hand, is gone. Now, Minifish explained this right off the bat when this first happened, but I didn't understand the scope of it. I didn't understand exactly what he was saying. I knew he was on it because I reposted his video and said, this is the most important video Minifish has ever made. Well, I just didn't get it until this morning. So there's a reason I'm making this video where I am right now. My Starlink is way over there by the road because there's so many trees around, but I got to do this. When God answers, you got to do your part right away, even if it's uncomfortable to stand on your shaky old knees. At any rate, listen to this.
This Trump peace and prosperity plan, aka the Abraham Accords, the deal of the century, so on and so forth, I do believe we're going to see this come back into the picture. You have Netanyahu in the country meeting with Trump, who isn't even president, but he's meeting with him as if he were. But we can't forget that the Rebbe Schneerson, who many looked upon as the Messiah himself, told Netanyahu, you will be the one to hand the scepter to Messiah.
40 years ago, when Netanyahu was Israel's ambassador to the United Nations, he met Menachem Mendel Schneerson, the leader of the Chabad Lubavitch movement, known simply as the Rebbe. The Rebbe believed Netanyahu had a mission from God to prepare Israel for the coming of the Messiah, or in Hebrew, the Moshiach. Soon after entering Israel's parliament for the first time, Netanyahu paid his respects to his mentor.
So we got to keep that in mind, because they do have an understanding of things, and they co-opt prophecy and self-fulfill it in order to fool and deceive the world. That's literally how they do it. They invert God's word and his prophecy. They turn everything upside down.
The current non-Jewish Messiah was chosen to be of service to the Jewish people and the Jewish Messiah. President Trump's right ear was grazed in a symbolic gesture of Exodus 21:6, where the Torah states that a servant who wants to remain with his master needs to have his right ear pierced. Trump was designated as God's servant and anointed one, just like Cyrus the Great almost 2,400 years ago. We have clarified in several videos that the absolute deadline for the redemption is by the end of the Jewish year 5787, which corresponds to October 2nd, 2027. Thus, the redemption will surely occur during Donald Trump's tenure. And I have good reason to believe Donald Trump was chosen to be the one to redeem the sins of Esav through offering his assistance in rebuilding the Holy Temple on the Temple Mount and establishing the Jewish kingdom over all of mankind in Jerusalem. Perhaps it is no accident that the numeric value of Donald Trump in Hebrew is the same as Messiah, son of David, Mashiach ben David, 424. However, Donald Trump is mistaken if he thinks he was chosen to make America great again. But America will never become a great country on its own, because Esav's days are numbered. All our elite institutions and centers of power and influence are rotten through and through. The majority of Americans under 30 who are college educated and who are the future leaders of America support the vicious monsters of Hamas rather than the holy and courageous soldiers of the IDF. No human being, even Donald Trump, can reverse this. No, the greatness of America does not lie in its own success. America will be great when the Messiah comes, and the leader of this country, on behalf of all the good people in this country, will humbly present himself to the Jewish Messiah and ask him to accept the United States of America into a new alliance of countries who accept the leadership of the Messiah. A new United Nations will replace the current cesspool that goes by that fraudulent name. A real United Nations, united to serve God, led by the Messiah and based in Jerusalem. And my feeling is that the United States under President Trump will be the first nation to join.
So how crazy is all this? How crazy is all this? It is undeniable. It is absolutely undeniable that a week after his shooting, his ear was completely healed. They didn't even talk about it anymore. Many Fish put that video up back in 2014, I believe it was in July, and said that it was a blood on his ear, blood on his thumb, and blood on his foot. The last thing Trump said before they stood him up is, wait, let me get my shoes. This is crazy. This is crazy. He's not even being blackmailed whatsoever at all. He's not being blackmailed. He doesn't care. He sold himself to the Israelis under the impression that he's going to be some legend that future generations will read about in history books. He's a complete and utter sellout. And I've been telling you that since 2016. 2016. This is nothing new. But this just dawned on me. This just all came together for me this morning, and I wanted to lay it out so that you could see it yourself, because it's irrefutable. It's undeniable. They know it, and now we know it. And don't forget, April 1st, Hegseth, the Department of War, is putting all these military guys in place in all 50 states for when people finally realize whatever's going on, it's going to come to a head. You need to hit your knees, pray to God, and get your house in order, because the clock is ticking and people are too busy on TikTok and every other thing watching all the popular new right-wing truthers that are literally doing the same thing that Alex Jones was doing the entire time. Give you 90% truth and 10% whatever. You see what I'm saying? You need to, I can't possibly stress this enough. You need to, everything else doesn't matter anymore. They're stealing everything. And when gas prices really start to spike, no one's going to be able to afford to live here anymore. And that's the exact and total plan. You think Israel hitting those oil refineries last night was an accident? It destroys everything. I mean, the amount of pollution that's in the sky. When Saddam Hussein allegedly set all his oil wells on fire in Desert Sabre, Desert Shield, Desert Storm, the pollution was unbelievable. These people are going to do whatever they have to do. And don't forget, June is aliens, because why not? At any rate, I'm going to leave you with what Many Fish said, because he explained this a long time ago. I just didn't totally, completely get it. And I hope you do now. So, there, as they say, is that.
Portraying themselves as the sons of light. That's just the way it works. And if you don't see this stuff, you're going to fall for this. That Trump is this warrior king savior. I'm astounded at how many professing Christians are buying hook, line, and sinker into this whole thing. That Civil War movie, I do believe that. We are witnessing a civil war. A coup is occurring, and it's building to what will be a civil war. Don't know exactly how it's going to play out, but it's going to be ugly. That much I know. So, the 13th was a Saturday, a Shabbat, and you have Netanyahu visiting Trump, who isn't president, and he cannot leave until Saturday night because he can't fly during the Shabbat, which is exactly 2 weeks since the Trump event. I just go through this stuff. The shooter, there's a bunch of stuff on him too, but I'll wait to share on that stuff. The big thing, is you got to understand that there is a principle of inversion in the Bible. And that is how the devil operates. It's what he uses to deceive. He'll use scripture very cleverly and just lure in and deceive these well-meaning people who profess Christ but they only profess him, they don't possess him, or else they would begin to see that this man is being held up as a Messiah figure. He likes being put in that elevated position. He loves it. So the Bohemian Grove literally held the cremation of care ritual on the same day as this Trump incident. You cannot get around that. And it's interesting that it was started in 1878. Trump just turned 78, and it's been 147 years, and he's running for the 47th president, which I believe we will not see. I believe that Biden 46, that'll go down in history as the last official president of the United States. Even though he took it by fraud, it still will go down in history that way. And it's interesting to me because that 46 is the same amount of years they spent building that second temple, which was destroyed on the 9th of Av, which is coming up. Jesus told them, destroy it and I will raise it in 3 days, speaking of the temple of his body. But they just didn't get it, and they still don't get it. And people are saying, oh, God spared Trump, he's God's man. Of course God spared Trump. He's sovereign over everything, everyone. But you still have the free will to choose the master that you will serve. And Trump, as you know, you can't serve two masters. He serves the master of mammon, money. He loves money. And they put him through a ritual on that stage that mimics the consecration of the high priest, with the ram's blood on the right ear, on the right thumb, and on the right toe. And he lost his shoes during the whole thing.
What's going on? Was he shot? Was he wounded? Then we heard him on the microphone saying, let me grab my shoes, as they tried to take him off.
So one can safely assume that all the elements are there for this inverted consecration of their high priest. And it's so interesting to me that the Church of Satan, the 5th degree high priest, is literally titled MAGA. MAGA Magnus is the title of the high priest of the Church of Satan. You can't get around that. A servant is given the ability in the Old Testament to be freed after 6 years, but he can choose to stay and serve that master for his remainder of his life. And the master will pierce his ear through to mark him as a lifelong servant. He was marked through as a servant. That's what he is fallen into. God can do anything, but as it stands right now, he is your Barabbas. He is taking on the role of the high priest that will lead you to your death. That's really what it amounts to. It really is. It's interesting, too, that the servant of the high priest, that Peter, when they were apprehending Jesus in the garden, cut off his right ear. And what did Jesus tell him? He told him, put away your sword, Peter. But Trump is telling you he is your vengeance. In fact, check out this clip, what he tells you he is.
This is the final battle. They know it. I know it. You know it. Everybody knows it. This is it. Either they win or we win. And if they win, we no longer have a country. But I do it for you, and that's what I'm doing it for. I do it for you. And if you put me back in the White House, their reign is over. In 2016, I declared, I am your voice. Today, I add, I am your warrior. I am your justice. And for those who have been wronged and betrayed, I am your retribution. I am your retribution. I will totally obliterate the deep state. And then you had COVID come in, and a lot of things had to happen, and we did a great job. We never got the credit for that job, but we did a great job with COVID. I am your voice. I am your warrior. I am your justice. I am your retribution. I am your retribution.
I have saved you, cried the woman, and you've bitten me, heavens, why? You know your bite is poisonous, and now I'm going to die. "Oh, shut up, silly woman," said the reptile with a grin. "You knew damn well I was a snake before you took me in."